Oh, stay caffeinated, my friends.
Hi.
This is COFOH Live Undead. I am your host, Daniel Crosier, and I am joined by the amazing Meowstress.
Do I have something on my face?
How are you?
I'm fucking great. Can I cuss?
Yes, you can fucking cuss.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yes,
yes.
this is the platform for foul language.
I'm down for that. I am very well known for my potty mouth, so.
Excellent, excellent. So there will be plenty opportunities for potty mouth. Blah. Yeah. How are you? Good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for being patient. My phone, I'm not used to working my phone with podcasts, so I'm learning kind of how to do different platforms. So this one was a little tricky, but I think we nailed it. So sorry that I'm late, that we're late for it.
No worries. For everybody out there that's not familiar with your work, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and how you became a horror personality. You're a performer. It looks like you're going into the venture of magazines. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh wow! Let's see. So I am born. I'm a California native from Los Angeles, a Valley girl.
Nice.
With a little bit of Chola mix. I guess I just kind of everything's been in my world since I was a little girl. My mother's from Burbank, so I've kind of grown up around the film industry and just living there. Just people, I don't know. I guess it just kind of hit me when I was a little girl. I was like, maybe one day I'll do this. I've loved scary movies growing up. That was kind of like where my mind would go during difficult times. And then I grew up and I was going through like a full term custody battle for my daughter. I had started dating somebody that turned out to be very toxic. I was bartending. I had just started like really expressing my pinup career. This was like back in 2010-ish, I think, maybe 2009. I started pinup modeling, and then it just kind of blew from there. I always worked like at live venue bars with like metal music. So I guess, like with the pinup and the metal, I kind of working at a place called the Boiler Room in Deep Ellum on Elm Street area. So it's just kind of like all these little things just kept colliding and kept sparking my creativity. And I was coming out of this toxic relationship after I won sole custody of my kid. And the pinup modeling was kind of like, I guess, becoming something that was used to, violate and shame me. So I started going more into the horror film side. One of my buddies, he was like, hey, do you want to do a movie at a haunted house? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to play. I get to eat people. I get to, do whatever the hell I wanted.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really rad. Trauma actually picked it up. So it was
Oh, that's cool. What film was this?
It's called Moonshine Meat Market Mayhem.
Wow.
Yeah, it was shot. Say what?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, at first it was called Cancer Dancers, but when Lloyd took it over, when Uncle Lloyd took it over, he completely switched it up. to this day. So in the movie, I have a pet zombie that I piss on, and it was just one of those moments in life where my director was like, "Hey, would you piss on somebody?" And I'm like, "Well, not for real, because that's way too much money for what you're offering me."
Yeah.
So anyways, he's like, "No, let's do it." So I got some lemonade and popped a condom and peed all over my friend who's also a director because he was my pet zombie. And then after that, I was like hooked. I was like, oh my God. Like, I love the blood. I love the gore. Like, it doesn't freak me out anymore. Like, it's something that I guess has kind of healed me through my little journey. So that was just kind of like step one. That was like the very beginning. I got picked up by Troma. Like, it was just something I've always wanted as a little girl to be in a Troma movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the universe kind of gifts you when you're doing all the good things in life. So I got pretty lucky.
That's awesome. We had Lloyd out last year at Colorado Festival of Horror. He's such a sweetheart and just a fun-loving soul to have around.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Him and Ron McKay. Ron McKay, that's my boy.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. So, when did you do the film?
Which one? Which one? The movie?
Yeah.
I think we started it. I think we started in like 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
and it was during the winter time. It was fucking freezing. I can't even believe I remember that. Yeah, we were just half naked people running around during the wintertime in a haunted house. And oh my God, the best part is the hotel that we stayed in was even worse than the fucking haunted house. It was just creepy and grimy, and it looked like it should have been in a horror movie. So we kind of like played around in there too and did like some photo shoots. But yeah, so that was in 2016, freezing cold. I mean, I don't know how we didn't like die out there of freezing, but I mean, I just remember doing takes over takes, and we're just like, okay, how many times are we gonna get through this? This is too much. But yeah, and I think I'm sorry, and I think it came out in 2017. So let me remember all that because it's been a while. Yeah.
Cool. So hopefully people can go and watch it on Troma now, or pick it up from Lloyd when they see him.
Yeah, they do the conventions. They have like the DVDs that they have up for sale. They do have it on Troma now. I believe it's on Amazon Prime, and you can actually buy it on Amazon. So it's kind of everywhere. Like a lot of the movies that I'm doing, like now that we're progressing into this new world order of technology and, easy access, internet access, everything's just kind of everywhere. Like, I think people really know where to go, except if it's like a private thing or whatever.
Right.
I love your background. Your background is like so like
it's festive, right?
Yeah. Like a cobweb.
Oh yeah, I faux finish with a lot of latex casting and stuff, so it just looks like dangling skin and everything. But I'm ready for Christmas.
Yeah, I saw some of your work. You're pretty interesting. I saw like your comic work, and you do a lot of FX artistry stuff too, don't you?
I've got my like you. I've got my fingers in a lot of different pies. So we work on film projects. I do a number of I work on a number of comic book projects, but I also do a lot of kid friendly stuff too, and murals and mural camps with kids, and then I circle back around to the horror stuff. Especially Colorado Festival of Horror. So. Yeah.
Right? That's fucking sick too. I just remembered seeing like your podcast, and I'm like, oh, he does a podcast, So that's why I was like, dude, like, let's connect. Because, I'm starting mine as well. So, but it's very, I'm not used to being live or like being on camera speaking just because, I was speaking of that domestic toxic relationship.
Right.
So I lost half my equilibrium and went deaf, and I had to learn how to speak again. So for a lot of years, people would be just ugly and mean and bully, not knowing that my face was paralyzed, not knowing I couldn't hear, and I have 24/7 tinnitus as well. So it's like, some people are like, don't say that, don't. And I'm like, why? Like, I'm proud to be where I'm at. as
Yeah.
far as I've come, because I shouldn't be here like many times over. So,
Wow.
you know, I think I know I belong in horror because it's like the only energy that I can understand, like running around in blood or like trying to like, you know, strangle somebody, because I know how that feels, you know, not
Yeah.
virtually, but in real life, like I can understand how to like truly frighten somebody and just be like, oh, yeah, you want to play?
Yeah.
Let's play.
Nice. Well, yeah, we're glad that you're still around with us, and you're able to share your art. Yeah, you know, before we went on, you were talking about you know, how like horror was a form of therapy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've done action films. I've done like one action film.
Cool.
It you know, it was based out of Dallas. I think that was like 2015. I don't even, it was
Nice.
before, I believe. But it just
Okay.
wasn't this, it wasn't the same ambiance. Like my
Right.
creativity and my brain couldn't really connect with that. But like, you know, when you go through things in your personal life, like real
Yeah.
scary shit, and
Yeah.
you know, being a little kid too, like like It is one of my favorite movies. Like I still
Nice.
get scared. Yeah, and I don't even know why. I guess because, you know, it's like a little childhood trauma trigger thing. But
Yeah.
I love clowns. I love it. I mean, I love just
Nice.
all of that. So, but it's just your brain sometimes. It, I don't know. It calms me down because I know, like, I could put all of it together into like an energy ball, and then like just the creativity flow from painting to like doing my photo shoots to, you know, doing makeup for, you know, myself or for other people. So it's I don't really know.
Yeah. Well.
Because when I started in Dallas, it wasn't that big of a thing in the indie.
Mm.
Remember, like when, like just it wasn't even a decade ago when we were still B horror and we weren't anything, and the conventions were small, and we were trying to
Right.
grow the conventions. So like when we all started working as a community, I think that really brought it together too. Like just having everybody's energy and just in that industry is where I felt most comfortable. It's kind of like when I go to metal festivals, like it just belongs together, you
Yeah.
know? And just being around those people as well and
Yeah.
seeing them put it together, you just kind of know you belong there, you know?
Right.
And then of course I have my Vampira, like she's been a huge, you know, icon and inspiration to me. So, I mean, I even went as far as asked Johnny Coffin if I could, you know, do like a replica of her show. And he's like, yeah. And I haven't done it
Cool.
yet just because out of respect,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff. But yes, that's going to happen very soon.
That's great. Yeah, yeah. You know, that I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, as horror as a genre, you know, it can, you know, one thing it does really well is it reflects, you know, on like, you know, some of the societal I mean, for lack of a better term, horrors in real life, and
Yeah.
can be very therapeutic, and it's a great way to find community, just as you know, music, you know, heavy metal music, you know, any genre really. You know, you're able to kind of coalesce around you know, that common connector, you
Yeah.
know, music, film, you know, or yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing to see that when you go to conventions and see, you know, groups of people. Just, I mean, they're so passionate and endearing. I go to a number of comic book conventions, and I don't get that.
Yeah.
It can be hot or cold. It can be hit or miss. And then, but at a horror convention, it's just one big family. It's
Yeah. It's
lovely.
like, where's it at? I want to see everything. Who are you? What, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Because
is.
I follow all of the conventions, you know, pandemic, even though, you know, that crap, like, you know, took us all down and tried to
Right.
take us all down. You know, we were all working, you know, through the communities, like through Twitch. Like I was doing,
Mhm.
you know, underground podcasts. You know, like
Cool.
I have my metal vamps. And so like I just kept promoting all my people, you know, from like Mick Garris to, you know,
Nice.
yeah, to, you know, Uncle Lloyd, to, you know, all the different movies. My friend Pop Culture Punk, he like redoes like, what do you call it? My brain, sorry, sometimes this
That's a,
happens. when he does like the flyers and he does like the different movies with different names on it, like humor, humorous stuff.
Or like parodies or something.
Yeah. So it's we just shared and helped each other out. So it's like you don't, like you say, you don't get that very much. And the fact that I get free copies of my DVDs.
As you should.
Right? I know we should put that in the contracts, because a lot of people are like, "What's Meowstress?" And I'm like, you can read it in Business is Dead, and it's a entrepreneurship book. Nice. So yeah, and I have my own chapter called Chapter 12, Arousing the Dead, and it just talks about how I kind of slid on in, as Meowstress. But I mean, and my inspirations also was like Bruce Corbett of Warbeast. Warbeast is like a thrash metal band, but it's a horror thrash metal band. Cool. And and God rest Bruce's Batman Forever soul. He passed away from cancer a couple years ago. But Joey Gonzalez, he's like the drummer for it. So they did a lot of background stuff, and they would get into the conventions and promote themselves. Like Casey Orr with Guar, he does paintings. Yes. So we all do more than just sit in front of the camera. We actually have other side gigs and stuff too. So, and I still bartend because I love it.
Nice. That's cool. That's the nice thing. We're not just pigeonholed into one thing, and so many people, I think, outside looking in, don't really realize that, and the same thing is true of them as well. They're not just this one thing. They're not just moms and dads or accountants or going to your job. You're not just your job. You're a multitude of things, and whether you understand it or not, even with all the problems that you might be experiencing in life, you're a fully formed human being and entitled to so much love and endearing. I love this.
Yes. Right? I think that's why I became an ordained minister. Like I've wanted to always marry somebody on the Mississippi. So when two of my friends, Alex and Alex, got married, I love you guys. I was like, I want to be the Meowstress on the Mississippi. Like, I want to marry people in the Mississippi. So I was like, I can be an ordained minister. I haven't done that part yet, but I've married people, but I haven't done a character like Father Evil. You cool motherfucker. Him and my buddy Scumlove, they have the band, and Father Evil is a character that he created, and they're both ordained. They're both my buds. And it's just we support each other still, even in all of, the weird levels of life. One day I'm doing horror, the next I'm doing a pinup shoot. And I remember when I did start, I would go to a convention in Dallas, Texas. And I was like, wow, here you can do everything. You can be a horror, a horror host, which that's what I started with as well. I kind of started doing that before I became an actress. Like you, I just want to get to know people. I want to let people know they're appreciated and let them know that their work and their talent, all the time they put into it, is so appreciated and celebrated. And even if somebody, may not see it, I see it. So let me help other people to see who you are too. Because, that's what horror has done for me, and a lot of the inspirations in my life have done, for me too. Because with this part, I was doing conventions, so a lot of people knew what was going on. At my New Jersey Horror Con fam, they just took me under their wing, and they're like, okay, we know you're half, brain dead, so we're gonna guide you a little bit. And I'm like, thank you, because without them encouraging me, I don't think I would have had the confidence or the stamina to be present at that time, especially when I had another magazine at the time, which so
tell us a little bit about Metal Vamps. Because you've got the Facebook page. You've been promoting the magazine on Instagram. What is that about? Obviously, that some of it's used for promoting. As you said, a number of horror family like Mick Garris and Lloyd. But yeah, what's going to be the the direction that
Final product. Okay, so I started Metal Vamps. I'm a metal vamp. I don't want to name the song, but it talks about being a video vamp. And I'd done my music video with Rabid Flesh Eaters, and it was a horror music video short.
Sweet.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm a fucking video vamp. And I'm like, no, you're a metal vamp. You're a metal Meowstress. Like,
nice.
And I was like, wow, that's a great, burlesque troupe name. That's how it first started. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I don't want to do just regular stuff. I want to do blood and metal and, punk and thrash. Like, I want to, bring that in to what's not really being done, at least where I was at the, time in my life.
Right.
So then it started off that way. And then, and then I was like, wow, what else do I want to do with this? Okay, I started a magazine with my old partner, but I wanted to do, metal musicians. I wanted to do have them talk about their gear, like I wanted to talk about film and crews and, make it more of like the background of what we do, that way every artist has like an opportunity to try to get an endorsement or try to get, free product, because before pandemic, we didn't really have a platform to do that unless we, had big money or whatever.
Right.
And so then when I left that old magazine, I was like, fuck that. I could fucking do that. Like, I don't need to pay for everybody else's bills. Like, it's time for me to get paid. But then I'm like, well, I want to promote my friends for free. So I started doing that, and I'll be doing hopefully my first run of the final product mid-July, and just kind of see what I need to have tweaked. Yeah, Vinny Appice told me, he was like, Kitten, if you're gonna do a magazine, it needs to be glossy. You can't have these edges. You need to make sure, so he has me very, really precise about stuff. So I'm kind of anal when it comes to my artwork. But so it's gorelesque, it's, promotions, it's turning into the umbrella for my podcast, which is the Kitten Crypt. And hopefully soon I'll have a couple of more writers that, want to talk beauty. And I think, like FX stuff, but it's just pretty much trying to get it started has been really hard because it's just me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a podcast, magazine, and burlesque.
Cool.
If that helps. So I'm not rambling. I had a lot of coffee today, so I talk a lot when
As you should. So do I.
I prefer whiskey, but I'm sober nowadays.
Oh yeah, and I haven't had a lick of alcohol since I think 2000.
Oh wow, good for you.
Yeah, I dated an alcoholic, man. I was like, that's enough.
I mean, I come from that lineage myself as well. So, my ancestors are from New Orleans from the 1800s. So there's so it's okay. But I bartend at a bar called Jinx Bar and Grill. It's like a comedy and burlesque spot.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, it's fucking sick. If you ever come into New Orleans, come say hi. They're actually from New Jersey, and they do burlesque and comedy themselves. And during the pandemic, they opened up the bar, and Jersey loves me and I love Jersey. So I was like, I'm in, count me in. I'm down for whatever.
That's cool. Well, it sounds like, relocating to Louisiana, you've been able to, find a new family and new support group out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge scene for burlesque, all kinds of burlesque. I mean, the women out here are so talented. Cool. They are so empowered, just the goddess energy, the empress, rising all the time. It's so nice to connect with so many that I've always, kind of admired and wanted to connect with, because here it's different from everywhere else where, they're into the metal. It is about being a true witch. It is about having the real magic and being able to express it without being judged or criticized. And especially with blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
With what's going on with the LGBT community.
Yeah.
So, we support and love everyone. So it's, kind of like a safe space, home base here for me. I keep trying to leave and go back home, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think part of the beauty too of like a place like New Orleans too is just that haunted magic. I mean, obviously there's a lot of tragic history that ties into it, but at the same time, as far as like horror culture, not horticulture, but there's a lot of great horticulture out there too.
What did you say? What did you say?
Horticulture.
Hoarded?
Horticulture. So, so there's horror culture.
Yeah.
That pop culture, which is really well supported out there. But sometimes it sounds like horticulture, and that's not what I'm talking about.
Well, there is actually a new haunted house coming out. My friend Charles is like building it. It's like 5,000 square feet. Like, nice. Yeah, they're doing like I don't know if I should say, but I almost said it. But they have like these different rides that are going to be so cool, kind of like a movie that I'm going to be doing in October. But it's called Decomposed Haunted House. That it should be open like by Halloween, and it's like I said, 5,000 square feet. And then I'm going to be doing some stuff with my buddy Chris Stokes. He was on the Five Nights at Freddy's, so we're doing like some mortuary stuff. And a mortuary, haunted house that they have out here too. So it's really cool. Now that I'm here, everybody's like, all right, kitten, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You're here. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, let me get it together, because I still have to remember, the film that I'm working on. It's called Black Tent.
Oh, right. I did see that, you were posting about that on Instagram. Can you tell us a little bit about that? That's finished, right?
No, actually, hold on. Let me put my glasses on because this light is right. I'm not used to the lights all the time. All right, I can see better. Okay, so the Black Tent movie, it's still in pre-production, so we're still trying to get with investors and people who actually want to invest and be a part of the movie. Yeah, it's like kind of like a $500,000 film that we're trying to expose. But the director and the writer is Scott Hand. He's like really awesome. I can't really go into detail what it is, but it is a New Jersey-based, what do you call it? Like myth, like a
folklore.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, and I play a magician, and I'm actually, kind of as I always am. I'm the tease and the allure to the cobweb. So you'll get a little skin out of me in the movie, and then the movie that I just finished was Killer Waves 2. So that's actually that's actually out now. It just came out this month. It's James. Do you know James Balsamo? Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, we're friends. We've had him at Colorado Festival for the last 2 years.
He's fucking wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's one of my inspirations because I was always like, everybody told me there was no pinup in metal. There's no pinup in metal. And I'm like, you know what? That inspires me because, hello, here I am. Here's the Meowstress.
Yeah.
Like, let's make it happen. And then I went to LA during the pandemic. Another story, another time for that. But I ended up in LA in Santa Monica, Venice. And my buddy was like, hey, do you want to do this movie? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to be here. Let's fucking make shit happen. Like, let me be a consistent cast member. And, so he's like, all right, when you do this, like, I think it's like my first topless role.
Okay.
So you get to see some of the girls. I was a little thick, but hello. that adds more to the voluptuousness. So, but and it's so funny because Marky Ramone is in it.
Right. I did see him post about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what he does. He takes metal and he takes all of us bad witches and whatever vamps and just collaborates us all together, you know,
Nice.
which is really iconic to, you know, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be one of the iconic, you know, B horror movie, like Uncle Lloyd. He's creating his own syndication, but also Edwin Neal was in it, which is like really cool because, you know, he's with Hitchhiker, and I got to actually interview him. He was one of my first interviewers with a show that I did called Texas Horror Cult. So
Cool.
yeah, so you know, he's just awesome. But he was also in my Uncle Bruce from More Beast Rigor Mortis in his music video. So it's like we all correlate within each other. I just kind of got granddaughtered in, or I don't know how you say it. Like I just, you know, I lived in Dallas Fort Worth for like 17 years, and so, you know, being in the scene, in the metal scene, and all of this and that, you just, I don't know. Everybody loves me, I guess, and I love them. But it's been one hell of a ride because it's not easy, you know. If you want to rock and roll.
That's pretty cool. Like I said, we've had James out here. It's interesting to watch him work because even when he's at a convention, he's still filming.
Just don't stop.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop. He's constantly networking. You know, it seemed like at least once a con, he was like, "Okay, let's go shoot a scene," and it's just like, "What do you want?" And then
where
if I can't jump to it right there. You know, usually me putting on a convention, I'm putting out a fire while he's filming something.
Sorry, I'm trying to find you. I know we had like trouble earlier.
Can you hear me? Did you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I can still hear you and see you. So you're
right,
fine on that end.
Let me get a little closer because like it was kind of like skipping, but man. Okay, go. I can hear you now.
All right, good.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he was. I think the last time he was out, he shot a scene with my friend the Enigma, the sideshow performer.
Which film is that in?
I can't remember. I think Enigma. I'm pretty sure he dropped off a copy of it, but I haven't watched it yet. But I can't remember what it was. It's like
right. I mean,
like 3 or 4 films a year.
Well, I mean, the Holy Diver was in art. I got murdered by the Holy Diver, so it was pretty cool. I got cause I like to do a lot of cameos in films.
Nice.
Like I don't know why. I just kind of, you know, it's just my thing. I like doing cameos. I like to jump in, jump out. You know, I'm working on some stuff that I'm gonna be turning into a movie all about me and how I, you know, fuck shit up. So that's gonna be fun soon. But James, I mean, he inspires. He's like, Kitten, you just like, you gotta just keep going. You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. I mean, the fact that he put me in this movie with Marky Ramone and Edwin Neal, and I think there's a band called Wednesday 13. I don't really know them. So
I know them.
Yeah. So, but I mean, their music's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that was cool, and like I said, it was like a sequel to Killer Waves 1.
Right.
So yeah, and we did that like in Malibu. I think we're all up in Malibu. So yeah, you know, I went home to Cali and just like lived the pinup. I did like pinup shoots and was doing the movie and trying to avoid a crazy roommate that just didn't realize it was pandemic and turned my life into a horror movie in real life.
That's not too pleasant. Yeah. We're glad that you're safe and sound in New Orleans.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, sounds like that's a much better fit, and you're able to, you know, to tackle, you know, all your creative, you know, focus all your creative energy these different projects. So you're still doing, you know, stage burlesque performance. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm actually. Oh man, I'm not ready, but I always say I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I call her my girlfriend because I'm West Coast, but my boss, she owns Jinx Bar and Grill.
Right.
And she's a heavy hitter, and so we're gonna be doing a lot of collaborations and stuff as well. So she's like, all right, Kitten, that's what I go by. all right, Kitten, it's your turn. When are you going to do this? And I'm like, when are you ready? And I was like, I'm never ready. I'm like, let me get a costume together. And she's like, all right, you got to give me a date. It's July's coming up. You're independent. I just broke up with somebody like a month ago. So a little bit longer than that because, mentally you check out first. So anyways, and I was like, okay, I guess it's time for me to shake my girls, come back to life, get back into my ambiance, get back into my power. So I think mid-July I'll be performing at Jinx Bar and Grill, and then I'll be doing a little thing called like Ha-Ha's and Ta-Ta's hideout.
Ha-Ha's and Ta-Ta's. Okay.
Yeah, Ha-Ha's and well, she does Ha-Ha's and Ta-Ta's. That's her thing at the bar.
Nice.
But they have like a hideout where they go to different places. So we have like a live band, comedy, and burlesque. So they're like little, secret places to go. So I'm gonna kind of do that first, and then hopefully get back on the stage. It's been a hot minute. I think the last time I did anything was in Dallas during Halloween, and I danced to like one of my favorite bands, Twin Temple, and just pour candle wax. I like to pour candle wax or blood all over me. It's my thing. Yeah.
And that kind of pertains to more the gorlesque aspect, right?
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, what do I do? I have fire fans, but I haven't prepared myself to use them yet. I'm getting there. Yeah, they're really cool. They're like cobwebs and like they're really sick, like handmade and all that. Yeah. So I mean that'll be really fun. There's a lot of cool events here, like I said, in New Orleans with the girls. So I'm sure once I get going, I have a few offers. So it's just, I think the hardest part in horror is being like, okay, Ken, you're Scream Queen. Like you've already shown boobs in Killer Waves 2, and you're gonna be, half, in your flesh in this next movie. So I think it's like transitioning to being, in my flesh again and being free with myself. So it's like you have to just do it. I've been hiding away for a couple of years. So.
Yeah. Well, in that kind of performance too, that's a type of live art that goes back quite a ways.
To like the 1800s and 1900s. I mean, if you know the history of New Orleans, like being a brothel madam or even one of the girls, you are still doing performance. Like there's performance on the bars, and that's something that me and Vivi Noir, that's my boss at Jinx, we're going to be doing like a little skit together where I make drinks and then she talks about the burlesque history. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I mean, there's even cool bars out here that are a part of old, madams like Lulu White. I love her, and people don't know that Mae West was revolutionized around her.
Oh,
but she, wasn't a white woman, so they needed, that in Hollywood. So it's a good story behind Lulu White. She tried to get into Hollywood and had her assistant go pay, the production to buy into it, and he pretty much screwed her over and like took over, and then that's when Mae West came about because it was about her. I know, yeah. The history here is pretty deep. Like it's pretty gangster too. So, but I'm excited. I'm ready to feel myself, and I'm ready to celebrate with my girlfriends. So, and if I don't do it, I think Vivi would just be like, okay, I'm getting up.
Nice. Do you have any horror convention appearances coming up?
Oh man, no, not this year. I have a little boy cat. His name's Johnny Cash. He's 17, and he has kidney disease. So I don't really, I don't know when any time he can fail because he's been having some seizures and stuff. So I like to stick close to home. I'm just kind of focused on the movie that's coming up in October when we start filming. I'm focused on right now. I'm trying to help my bosses like raise money because here in New Orleans, sometimes when you rent a building, you got to take care of everything. So I'm just really focused on getting into burlesque, getting my podcast and magazine out, and getting more into some more pinup stuff and some magazine covers and connecting with the community so I can, bring it all about in my way.
Nice.
So I would love to do horror cons. That would be great. I used to do the New Jersey Horror Con until pandemic, and then after that, I kind of just took a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those after parties get a little out of hand.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got some good stories there. Thanks, CJ Ramon. Thank you, Richard Rico.
Nice.
They saved my life one night. I had to hide behind Pet Cemetery set up because I had a famous stalker just losing. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, all right, man. But yeah, you just sometimes, it gets a little wild. But I haven't. Other than that, they love me. They want me to come back. So once I can figure out how I can drive with him or, fly without him for a couple of days, because, it's my boo, it's my baby. Yeah, my babies come first. My cat Coco, she passed away from cancer. So that was last year. And then she had cancer for a year. So it's, I didn't stop everything, but I just kind of took a break to take care of my babies because there are healers, there are guardians, and that's what you do for your animals.
That's true. They're family.
Mm-hmm. So, but okay, tell me about Colorado Fest of Horror.
Okay. Well, we're more of a intimate kind of a boutique show. We're focused more on creative activations. We still bring out celebrity guests, but our focus is primarily like doing main events, screenings, gaming.
Nice.
Sometimes film related activities. Special effects. Focusing on authors and comic book creators. And,
yes.
Horror's, such a varied, multifaceted, genre and platform, where, so many different disciplines, come in. But, most of the public, they know the horror films, and then, the horror novels second, as a secondary medium. But there's just so much more into it. And it's, like with you, you've got, the dancing aspect, the magazine aspect, as well as the film aspect. There's all these other, platforms that I don't think really get a lot of acknowledgement. So,
right.
So this will be our third year of doing this. It's a lot of fun. By no means am I a horror aficionado. But doing like these type of interviews, I really enjoy connecting with other creatives within that genre and learning more about what they do, and especially in this case as well, learning about more about you, learning about you, getting to know you,
right, and that's the biggest part.
About you.
And that's the biggest part too, is just like I want to know. It's like, when a musician is playing a guitar, like how do you just know,
how do you get to that point?
It just happens. It's magic. It's like
oh, yeah, very much so. It's those things that make life worth living is that level of creativity that goes into it. Otherwise, life is tedious. But yeah, I've always had kind of a natural curiosity, and it's nice to see that there's a lot of people out there, that still have that. They haven't grown out of it. I don't think people really do grow out of it fully. But they do turn it off.
Yeah,
it's there. You just got to tap into it.
Right. Well, not to I'm gonna plug it. So again, my friend Neil A. Cohen, who did Business is Dead.
Cool.
He also did, and this is kind of where it started with him. He also did Exit Zero Zombie and Snooki. Like, he had Snooki make a comment on it, and I was like, "That's." I was working with my magazine, and that's how I kind of started doing conventions. Like, I bring the magazine in, and we do have like certain models on the cover, come show up, whatever. Which I'll start doing that again. Nice. But I was like, dude, you got Snooki on the fucking cover? Like, how would you, And he's like, she loved the book. And I was like, that's rad. So then he was just like, hey, I'm doing a entrepreneur book. And I'm like, what is that? And he goes, how fans in the horror business, you know, created their own small business and how to create that and how to start that. And so like I keep telling him, I'm like, can we change the name of the old magazine to my magazine? Like, can I get rid of the old one, please? Just fuck that guy. But he was like, well, no, how about this? How about you tell me who you are? And that was the hardest for me, is because I don't know, like, I'm, you know, the Meowstress, like, I'm an actress, I'm a host. Like, I started as a horror host, you know, interviewing, but being live in the conventions, because, you know, I didn't want to rip off Vampira, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, the Valley Girl punk metal Elvira that everybody says, but I'm not Elvira, I'm, you know, Meowstress. So, you know, I brought in more metal, you know, I brought in more, you know, of the music that has horror, or like, you know, Cannibal Corpse, they're horror, you know, Rigor Mortis is horror, you know, you got, you know, just all these other bands, like even Venom Inc. Hey, Tony. Like, you know, they have all the horror, you know, and everybody just thinks, oh, well, that's just this and that. And it's like, no, it's not. You read stories in this freaking book, and the stories of how people have started and why they keep going, you know, like how they got into the conventions. And it's just about helping each other and, you know, just showing each other how to start. But I get kind of irritated sometimes because, you know, it's kind of getting a little bit more pornish, like a little bit too extreme. Yeah. And for me, that's not the route I go for myself. Like, you know, old school, like Jamie Lee Curtis style, you know, just some flashing titties. And, you know, I'm okay with that little butt crack, you know, but I eventually want to start murdering people. Like, I want to murder somebody.
Right.
I want
to be the slasher.
I want to be the slasher. I want to like rip hearts out through throats, or, you know, cut a brain open, like my picture up there, you know, do Jeffrey Dahmer style, you know. That would be sick. Yeah. But hopefully, you know, more movies are coming after I finish this one, and, you know, like this one is more like of a speaking role, where I'm not playing me, I'm playing somebody else. So that's kind of taking me out of the box a little bit, and like bringing out my, you know, my strengths and things that I didn't think I could do. So, you know, and this book really does help, because it just reminds me of, like, you know, who I am, and, you know, what my involvement was with a lot of the conventions. Because, I mean, I really have supported the indie horror industry forever. And when we just started, and then, you know, it just kind of blew up out of nowhere over the past few years. Where now be horror is like the thing. It's not like regular stuff.
I mean, you know, look what happened with like the Terrifier movies. Those things came out of nowhere and just blew up.
Yeah, I did an interview with him in one of my magazines that I
nice.
Yeah.
He's Damien Leone, or the actor David Howard Thornton.
David. Yeah, he's in. I don't work with that magazine. I kind of shut it down just because, you know, I don't like to manipulate. It was like during the Me Too movement, and, you know, it's just, you don't mix, you know, really edgy models with directors and actors, and, you know, it's just such a touchy thing, especially now, because, you know, we have the writers, you know, strike and all that, and it's just because of all of, you know, the crazy stuff that's going on, and you know, like, it just, the Terrifier, I know, but I haven't seen the first one, no, the second one, and I knew the first one was really edgy, but it's like now it's kind of getting really edgy, and I don't have anything negative to say about it, because I don't, but I just don't want to push my career to where I feel like I have to expose myself more to, you know, to like make that extra paper. I want, you know, does that make sense?
No, I totally understand. You know, if you're not comfortable with it, then by no means, you know, do it. Nor should you ever be feel that you're being pressured into doing that. Yeah. I totally understand.
And that's a lot, you know, I talk with my girlfriend all the time, because she also was one of my hosts and worked with the magazine and did the conventions for me when I couldn't do it. And it's just, you know, you find those niches, you like can go A, B, C, or D. But for women, you know, we need a little bit more protection, and, you know, a little bit more, guard when we do show up, because sometimes, you know, you, sometimes, you get so stuck in that, tunnel vision of, okay, I'm at a convention, I'm, the celebrity, I've got to do these interviews. What can I say? What can I not say? And then I'm like, I'll fucking say whatever I want. I'm Meowstress,
Yeah.
But then I have to kind of hold myself together, because I don't want to come off like I'm, flirting or, trying to hook up or something, because I don't rock and roll that way. And that's the hardest, because it's just so much energy, and everybody is just so enamored and excited to be around like their favorite, person that they grew up with. Or like I interviewed Brian Wilson from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite. And oh God, I see myself in that interview, and I'm just so excited and smiling and just, like I'm just like a doe in headlights, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I fucking grew up on you. I grew up with you, like as a little girl, like you scared the shit out of me as Santa Claus, and and that came off like me flirting a lot, and I was like, oh man, as a host, how do I rework myself? Yeah. So and you're a dude, so you get to,
I know. Yeah, there is definitely that double standard, and it's not lost on me. I've had interviewing female guests too. I've had to learn that with women, they're getting made up, hair done, makeup done, dressed to come on the show. So the least I can do is be patient, because it is more of an ordeal than I ever realized. So to be fair, Lynn Lowry taught me that lesson.
Right. And you know what? I was just about to say, you just gave the answer to every man's question. How do you make a woman happy? Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. Yep. Yeah. I mean, how long did it take us to get my phone right? Like 30 minutes over time schedule. So patience is a virtue. I got a little extra coffee in me, so you got a little extra, gossip. So that's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Stay fascinated, my friends. Meowstress, we're pretty much out of time.
Yay.
But you've got a lot of things coming up. You're going into production on the new movie, The Black Tent. That's in the fall. And you've got a new feature out right now, Killer Waves 2 from James Balsamo. Where can people find that?
What is it?
Where can people find that film?
So jamesbalsamo.com, Acid Bath Productions, I believe also Amazon. It has all the links on jamesbalsamo.com. You can go to, blacktent.com to, if you want to donate toward our film, because I'm learning how to do that part as well, kind of get it all going. You can also find me on Instagram at Meowstress Official.
Cool.
I got my Spotify up and running here soon, so I would love to interview you coming soon too. That'd be sick. So that way I can, celebrate all. You just do so many crazy things, so it's pretty neat.
Thanks. I've been accused of being chatty.
ADD. What is it? ADHD. Like, it's like being an artist. You have like 3 different canvases up, and you're like, okay, let me do this one. Okay, that one. Let me do this one. But yeah, I mean, I got Meowstress. I got Metal Vamps Magazine. I've got Meowstress Official and the Kitten Crypt. They're all on Spotify, podcasters. So that's going to be beginning next month at the end of the month. So I've got, like 3 interviews coming, some really great ones too. Pretty much I'm reworking my webpage right now. So, one thing at a time is just learning how to, because I do it all myself, and it's a lot of work. Yeah, I don't want anybody touching my stuff.
That's the thing with indie creators. We got to support each other, and we got to encourage each other.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, yay! Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being so generous with your time and coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to connecting still, and yeah, just hit me up, and I'm gonna send you also a couple of
Oh,
these.
fantastic! Yes, please.
All
That'd be
right.
wonderful.
And I am giving a giveaway, so I'm going to be doing like 3 questions. If you want to throw in a question, um, uh, whoever answers the 3 questions to the podcast, they can get like a nice little gift box too.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you broadcast that, right?
We should totally broadcast that, starting right meow.
Right meow. Nice.
Right
Nice.
meow.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
we could do like the little questions on the Instagram. You know, like when you put it says ask a question. Maybe we can do that like over like the next couple days, and then do like an Instagram thing. I'm still learning how to be on the film. Like doing this is still kind of a lot for me. you know.
I totally understand. Yeah, it used to be a lot for me too, but then I just realized I'm lazy. And
I didn't make it on OnlyFans during the pandemic. Like I was like the worst. I was the worst. I'm like, here's a couple pinup images, and yes, they're topless, but no, don't message me. I don't want to talk to you. Like, just buy the picture and just don't. I was the worst. I'll never make it as a Hall of Fame porn star. That's for sure.
Me
But I love it. Hi, Priya. That's my girlfriend. She's actually a Hall of Fame retired burlesque and porn chick. So that's my girl. But anyways, I probably shouldn't mention that, but well, fuck it.
That's cool.
She took me to Christmas for her birthday. So you know what? I love you, sister.
Nice. That's cool. Meowstress, again, thank you for being so generous with your time. Stick around for a few minutes while we sign off, okay?
Okay, I sure will.
Excellent. And
bye, guys.
Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in tonight and learning more about Meowstress, about Kitty Rose, and all the amazing things that she does, and all the cool stuff that's coming up.
Yay!
And to our sponsors that support the show, Tabitni Information Cafe. If you're going to start a revolution, make sure you're caffeinated. To help entertainment. Thanks for rebroadcasting us on your social media. To Groovy TV, and of course to Alien Donut Films and Angela Joseph Productions. Thanks to Bill and Angela over there for putting up with my shit. And of course to my producers, Lily Fisher, for saving my life and my ass on these shows, and to Amanda Armstrong and Stefan Santa Cruz. Thanks so much, guys. And to everybody out there, hey, be good, be kind, help each other out during tough times, and stay spooky, everybody. We'll